This video records what I did to clean up the fuel system, starting with the air intake. I took out the air intake, the air filter, map sensor, throttle body boots, plenum, fuel injectors, fuel pressure regulator, replaced all the high pressure fuel injection lines. The throttle response after this renovation has really improved tremendously. Okay, get your wrenches out and let's get to work. I'm going to be tackling multiple things. First thing is the side cover. I found it helps to push down on it and bring it out that way rather than try to fight with this bottom clip. Then come forward with the pin. Most of the time this will come out with your finger. It's good to lubricate it with a little bit of grease or something, silicone. What I do is I press down on the gas tank, lean on it quite a bit. I get in here with my finger. Usually I can pull the clip right out without having to pry it out with a screwdriver. This hose here, what's going to happen is I'm going to undo that clamp, be ready with a bucket, drain some gas into it. I'm going to stick a plastic nylon bolt in there and then tighten the clamp up a little bit. My clip had trouble coming out. What happened is it was rotated around. It's like a horseshoe, and you want it facing with the opening that way. Okay. Notice that the clamp is closed almost completely. These clamps need to be really tight or they'll leak. Go ahead and remove the clamp and remove the tank. You can use a golf tee or this plastic bolt. I just cut the threads off with a wire cutter, which avoids any chips or debris. It's easy to remove the seat and you'll avoid scratching your gas tank. I placed the gas tank on the floor after carefully plugging it. These metal drip pans make an excellent surface to put the tank on. In the right rearmost hose connector on the tank is where this hose goes, and it goes to the vent hole in the gas cap. It just vents fumes. Mine is off most of the time and it's not a big deal. When you put the tank back on, the hose here is the vent tube for the tank and it can get kinked. What happens is you can take this black rubber hose here off, blow into it, and the tank will actually exhale and blow an equal amount of pressure back out at you. That shows you that the hose isn't kinked. This hose connects in the right rear corner, the front hose connection tube. This plastic cover down here is what covers the fan, and it's that cover that you remove and you apply a few drops of oil in the spots shown on the Internet BMW Rider K-Tech document. The air filter should be easy. A few clips, lift this up, pull it out. If life could only be that way. What we see is there's very little clearance between the top and the frame. The white 4-pin plastic Molex connector doesn't go to anything, so I tape mine off. Remember, don't try to pull the boot out of the plenum, as there's other things to do first. Take the drop the antifreeze. This is the quickest way I found. There is a little drain on the bottom side of the water pump. Here I'm in here with a 7mm socket. It's easier than using screwdrivers. The radiator cover, this little ring, you can slide this, you can bend this, hit a little silicone, you can slip the rubber out of there that holds the brake line. You don't need to do these 2 screws. On the back side here, this is all screwed on, and I'll probably take those screws off to paint this. We're in. The radiator's off. Everything you see missing on the radiator, which is pretty much all the hoses, is off. What you're going to want to do is push in on these little connector at each thing, and you're going to want to push those in to be able to get that cap off. This can be cut and will need to be cut in order to pull the cap off, and I may put it together with a little more slack in it so that the cup ideally can be removed with the radiator on the bike. Undo this clamp, which is called the plenum side. This is the plenum. I undid these 2 things. The very strange thing is this boot looks like it comes off. It does not. What happens is there's the airflow meter inside here. You need to get it out a little bit. You need to undo a plug that goes in through the side here. Then you take the mass airflow meter inside and you will pull that out of the box, out of the boot. When you do that, then you'll be able to disconnect the box from the boot by having to actually collapse the boot a little and push it out through the opening. you cannot take this boot off with the mass flow meter attached. So that's a mistake people make. I even pried against it once upon a time. It's easy to damage that boot, and you don't want leaks or dirty air going to the motor. Now we're going to see, this is kind of like the mass airflow meter. This is the amulet of this operation, you know, the kind of big special mystery secret. So this boot looks like it comes off, but it doesn't. You see that it actually comes through the other side here, goes into this thing. So what you do is you take this thing, and there's a little metal clip, so it's not just as simple as yanking it off. See the metal clip? Okay. Disconnect that, and of course these upper screws have to be taken out. And then you yank the mass airflow meter out. Obviously we're in an excellent position now to get at the air filter. And on my unit, I've never been able to get it out using the quick method because these wires are in the way, which I guess probably part of the quick method is cutting these cable ties, pushing these through the hole in the center. Then you're able to get this up. I'm almost able to get it up, and I can even move the filter, but I can never get the filter to go up high enough to then be able to pull it out. Because as we'll see later, the filter itself has a lip on it on the bottom side, a lip that goes over the lower plastic part. Unless you get up over that lip, you can't pull the filter out. One piece. And that's why you can never take this boot and just yank it off from the outside. Never happen, because you'll never be able to collapse this ring here and then get it out. So this is the mighty special Plenum. Obviously you want to watch your fingers and not damage anything. I just removed the Allen bolt on the bottom of the water pump and I drained it out. This sealant held fine, but really to get optimal performance, the sealant should be applied in a smooth continuous bead, just like when you put toothpaste on a toothbrush, where it maintains its round shape. The difficult thing is even after 3 days here, antifreeze still drips down, so I highly recommend you flush your system out, put distilled water in your motorcycle and run that, and that way if it drips a little, it's not nearly as slick as the antifreeze. Very good shape. It almost looks like the cover was taken off before. Inside the Hall effect sensor I could see, I don't know if it's oil or moisture. I think it's moisture. Okay, just remove this, and what I found is you take the two Allen screws off. You don't need to touch any of the screws on the plate, and of course I did make my markings to line up. Each of these screws that holds the Hall effect sensor on are like a half washer, see that? And the half part, or the missing part of the washer, is what covers the plate. So it's the rest of the washer touches against here, creating like a semicircle. Remember? Okay, I just removed the timing chain cover, and what I noticed is the bolt in the center here does not need to come off. What you should do is take a digital picture of that seal, which should be Teflon, and make sure you note carefully how it's set up in there. Those oil leaks. Here's our head gasket and basically our head. Take a piece of masking tape, put it on the valve cover, and note that this one spring must go back on in this position. It's what grounds the valve cover, and without it you can burn out the Hall effect sensor coils. This is the second generation seal, and what it is, it's made of Teflon. This is the third generation, the current seal, and that is in correctly. Notice the record grooves in the center. Dimensions? Seal dimensions, maybe. 38-52-7. I also matched, I think you can see this is has some, almost looks like threads here. This is the third generation Teflon Front Crankshaft seal. Basically, you'll see there's the smooth side here, and the smooth side always faces the engine oil. When we turn the cover around, we'll see there's an arrow that indicates direction of rotation, and also contains the small fine record grooves which are designed to drive the oil away from the part. These seals last a long time. The problem is when you push this on, that seal tends to flip back towards you. On the left